It's just Bruce. He don't bite. Hello.
Hey folks, welcome back. You ready for something a little bit different? Yeah, this one's a little personal. It's about me. And I have a chef coat on tonight. I have not worn a chef coat in 9 months since I retired from my chef job. Because, you know, if you're a chef, you're going to wear a chef coat. Anyway, I got to thinking this month would have been exactly 40 years I've been in the food service industry. I've always had some kind of a food service industry job, whether it was when I was first starting out, whether I was running a hotel kitchen or doing catering or the last job I had. But I decided to retire in October. And I ran across this thing on Facebook that I want to share with you guys today. And it is weird. I'm looking at myself in the monitor. It's weird to see me wearing a beard with a chef coat because I always thought it was, I still think it's unsanitary. But I'm not cooking like this. I'm just doing it for the video. Anyway, I want to show you this thing I found on Facebook, and I want to go over it briefly. I mean, there's a lot of comments on it. It's basically called What Made You Leave Your Job as a Chef? Okay, this is from a group I follow. I've been following for a while. They put funny memes up and some serious conversations. This is more of a serious conversation. The group's called Proud to Be a Chef. There it is. If you want to check it out. I'm just a member. It's not my group, but I like the group. It's fun. You see, they got 1.1 million followers, which is kind of cool. Anyway, the article is called Hi Chefs, What Made You Leave Your Job as a Chef? Actually, it's not an article, it's a question, but we're going to go down. And I want to read a few of them. And then I'm going to tell you why I decided to retire from being a chef. Hopefully you're interested. I thought it was interesting. That's why I'm doing the video. Okay, first comment. Oh, by the way, this is not doxing people. This is public information on Facebook, so I'm not going to get in trouble for using other people's names. But I'm not doing this maliciously anyway. I just want to see what people say. All right, so enough with the legal mumbo-jumbo BS. Let's just see what people have to say. And this guy named Ryan says, the time it takes away from family, 50-plus hours a week, weekends, holidays, nights. By the end, you never see family, which destroys relationships and creates a very sad life. I'm lucky to be in a place that's closed holidays and Sunday, Mondays, and going on and on and on. Basically, he's saying he doesn't have a life, and I don't mean that as an insult. He's right. You can't. If you're a full-blown chef working in a restaurant, your entire life is dedicated to your next meal of what you're going to cook. And it's a sad thing that, I mean, every job you have to work hard. Every job you got to work hard. You got to put in your hours. You got to put in your time. You know, I get it. I've definitely put in my time. There has been times I've worked 60, 70 hours a week from the time the place opened to the time the place closed. Get a little nap, get a little drunk, wake up the next morning, start all over again. It's a lifestyle, and you don't have a social life. You barely can have a dating life, and God forbid you're married because you will end up in divorce. That's one of my life experiences. Yeah, as much as you love to cook, as much as you love to do it, and to do this, you have to have the passion. If you don't have the passion, you're just there for a paycheck. And believe me, it shows in your food, and people know. Moving on. After 20 years, I'm sick of bosses wanting to order foods from packets and squeeze bottles because it saves time. Got nothing to do with skill these days. No one wants to pay staff that prepare foods made from scratch. I 100% agree on that. I love cooking food from scratch. I'm a comfort food specialist, always have been. American comfort food. Some people call it Southern comfort food. But in my mind, it's just good food, all made from scratch. And that is how I've always preferred to cook. But whenever you work in a restaurant, then the boss who doesn't even know how to boil water starts wanting to save money, and they bring in these frozen things and these packets of pre-made garbage like plastic cheese sauce. No. It's so frustrating because then you have to put your name on it when you're the chef. And it's like, this is what I have to use. It's like playing Cutthroat Kitchen all the time. I totally agree with you. Chantel. This guy named Mark. No time for my kids and family. Also, after 30 years, I was ready to do something else. Totally get it. Another one. After 30 years, I left for my family. Good choice. Family comes first. Just real quick, obviously me, I have my eBay store, but I'm retired. I retired early. I'm proud to say that I worked my tail off and paid for everything I have in life. I retired early. A lot of people can't understand that. Oh, you still want to work? No, I don't want to work. I worked my whole life. All my stuff's paid for. Why would I want to work? I crave more adventure, so I'm moving to, I don't know how to say that, Tullum to manage 20 vacation rental condos. It doesn't sound like a vacation to me, my man. That's, I mean, that sounds like a great job. Private dinner brunches for the guests, but my line days are over. 20 plus years on the line. Okay. You're still a chef, though. You're not quitting. You're still a chef. You're just upgrading. Look at this guy, Peter. I retired after 57 years. Would do it all again and not change a thing. Miss it so much. Good for you, Peter. I know you're never going to see my video, but 57 years, that's awesome. But this kind of gets into why I quit, because 57 years ago, it was a totally different career. Julie, toxic environments caused by bad head chefs, overworked and underpaid, dirty kitchens due to laziness, shame because I love what I do. Got you on that, Julie. I understand. As proud as you want to be of doing that job, people just make you feel like a second-class citizen. And, you know, it's like I'd be done working at, not just my last job, but quite a few jobs. I'll be done working. You know, I'm at one point I'm an executive chef. You know, I'm making really good money because it doesn't pay peanuts. I mean, if you're just a line cook, sure, it's a smaller wage, and there's nothing wrong with being a line cook. I was a line cook at one point in time, too. I had to work my way up. But, yeah, when you're done working and you're proud of what you did and everybody's happy with their food and you go out to, I don't know, maybe have one beer before you go home at the bar just to sit and relax, and people are looking down at you like you're a servant, which you are a servant, but you deserve more respect than you get. I was on salary. Oh, don't ever go on salary if you're a chef. Always stick with the hourly. Averaging 64, 75 hours a week. I don't doubt that. After a couple of years that I hurt my hand one week, I only worked 34 hours. My boss paid me minimum wage hourly pay for that week. See, yeah, you don't get paid for working more work, but as soon as you cut down, oh, yeah, you get cut. It's just ridiculous. And this just goes on and on and on. I don't want this to be a long, long video. I'm scrolling through. I haven't read these. This is my honest reaction. This guy left a resort. Too many hours and stretched too thin. Went to assisted living facility. That's not a bad gig. Worked 4 days each week by myself and had 12-hour shifts each of those days and loved it. I would love that too, working by myself. That would be awesome. Make your own hours, make your own rules. The people I was working with were total... Oh, okay. Yeah, I've had that happen too in other places. Customers are too petty and inconsiderate and made me hate cooking. That's what it's come to, and nowadays, especially nowadays. It's worse now than it was 10 years ago. Nothing. I tried to quit so many times, but I love it. Now I'm doing it my way, so it all worked out. That's the secret. If you're going to be a chef, do it your way. Find a way to do it your way. Be self-employed. Start your own catering service. Start your own restaurant. Working for other people, working with corporations. You can't call yourself a chef and work for a corporation. No, you can learn from a corporation and call yourself a chef afterwards. But corporations with this is what you have to do. This is your recipe book. Don't deviate from it. Doesn't make you a chef. Makes you a glorified cook. Moving on. Heart condition triggered by heat and stress. Game over. I understand that. When I was 38 years old, I had my first heart attack. Well, my only heart attack. And I still am leery about the heat, but I live in Pennsylvania, and the last kitchen I work in, it would get to about 120 degrees. So yeah, I would take frequent breaks, and I just learned to take it easy. Still do my job, but took it easy. I unfortunately broke myself working like a man for 30 years. What do you mean working like a man for 30 years? It's a chef. There's female chefs, there's men chefs. We all work just as hard as each other, especially if you have the passion. So I don't want to hear that nonsense. I had a child. Yeah, fair enough. Vision, owner, and I didn't share the same vision. Best kitchens I worked in were those ownership empowered the chefs creatively. I totally agree with that. The more you do, the more they expect. Absolutely. Nothing. I'm still here. You can't handle the heat, then this job isn't for you. Okay, no one asked you. That wasn't the question on the table. It was, why do people quit? You obviously aren't quitting, so enjoy your job. Don't even mean that in a bad way. I'm so tired of being looked over and not understanding why they'll promote people who have absolutely no skills. Yep. True. because the people that have the skills are actually doing the work and they're keeping their mouth shut. The people that don't have the skills are the ones that run their mouth. I always say stupid people are the ones that run their mouth the most. They're the ones that sit there and complain and complain and complain and start drama. Everybody's been in food service knows there's always that little group that wants to start the drama. They don't want to do the work, but they want to sit there, take the credit, and start drama, make the people doing the work look bad. Okay, I could go through this all day, all day, all day. Now I'm going to tell you why I quit being a chef after almost 40 years. It would have been 40 years this week, actually.
I reckon Mr. Bruce got it right this time. He's not such a dumbass.
So now instead of meat and potatoes of why I quit being a chef, why I retired, why I don't want to do it anymore. Doesn't mean I don't want to cook anymore. Every once in a while I go down to Legion, I cook some food for them. But as far as being a chef goes, it is not the way it was. This is 2024. It is not even close to the way it was back in even the 90s, even the 80s. Even the 80s. I started cooking in the early 80s, first cooking job. Of course, I wasn't a chef back then. And I could sit here and give my whole history of my whole resume, so to speak, but I don't want to take that much time in a video. Long story short, I mean, I started like anybody else that did. I started as a little wee fry cook and learned over the years. I've had fun jobs, little jobs, this, that, and the other, until I went to culinary arts school. I actually worked under a chef at a place called Mountain View Inn here in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, and they tore it down a long time ago. They rebuilt it. I think it's still open, but I haven't been there in years. I worked under a chef named Chef Stark. Very nice guy. He took me under his wing, taught me a lot, and this is before I went to school. He kept encouraging me to go to school, go to school, go to school. I eventually got married and moved to Cincinnati, and then I did. I went to school because I was cooking. I was actually managing kitchens, but I wasn't a so-called chef with the schooling. So I went to culinary arts school, put myself through that. It took about 2 years, I guess. Got out, and I remember one of the chefs at the school in Ohio. When we graduated, he said to the class, he said, "Congratulations, you're all now certified cooks." All that means is you know your temperatures, you know basic cooking skills, which I knew that before I got there. I did learn stuff there. I learned how to garnish. I learned some of the more scientific methods, and that was nice. But I got out, and I started working at other places, always under a chef. And I learned over the past 40 years, always under better chefs than me. Well, as the years went by, I started getting better, started getting my experience. My resume grew bigger. I started working at bigger places. Next thing you know, I'm executive chef in a hotel in Kentucky. I loved that job. Ended up going through a divorce and some hard times, and I ended up back here in Pennsylvania. Among other jobs I've had in Pittsburgh. Nice, real chef jobs. And, so that was throughout the 90s. And work-wise, I was always working. Like I said earlier, you'd work 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Nothing to work 70 hours a week. Really wasn't. You're the chef. You're in charge. You have to be there. You have to worry about every single meal. That's your life. And like I said, first divorce, it wasn't entirely because I was a chef, but that had a lot to do with it. I wasn't around. I took full custody of my kids. Still a chef, cooking in different places throughout about 10, 15 years. It was hard. It was hard to work. It was an Irish pub I was running at the time. It was hard running that and spending time with my kids and raising them by myself. I did have a little bit of help. I had someone to babysit my kids whenever I couldn't be there. When I was there, all I wanted to do was sleep. But I didn't. I stayed and tried to spend time with my kids. I raised those girls by myself until I met my wife that I'm married to now, and that's been 14 years now. Just to give you a point of reference, my oldest daughter is going to turn 30 next month. So when my current wife came along, they were pretty much grown up. But that's all you think about when you're a chef is what is your next meal going to be? And not only was I a chef during the day, at nighttime I took side jobs to DJ, doing karaoke and stuff to make money while I was raising the kids. It was hard. But I loved being a chef. I was good at it. I still am. I enjoyed doing it until the late 90s started hitting. Late 90s and 2000 started hitting. Well, what happened next? And that's when the cooking shows started coming out, the chef competitions and stuff like that. I don't know exactly what year these shows came out, but there was Cutthroat Kitchen, there was Hell's Kitchen, there was all kind of stuff on the Food Network. Where they would have these Iron Chef, those kind of things. We have all these people competing in total bullshit situations, and it was entertaining at the time, especially for me because I am a chef. I'd watch it, but like, oh, I would do this, I would do that. I'm paying attention for the food quality and everything like that. But what happened to the younger generation of chefs that come in? They started acting like that in real life. Case in point, what you see in Hell's Kitchen, which came out in 2005, I think. Gordon Ramsay yelling at everybody with the whole brigade. If a head chef treated the cooks like that, or the other chefs like that, depending on where you're at, because it is kind of like that in a high-volume hotel or a high-volume restaurant, it can be like that a little bit. But that's a huge exaggeration. But Gordon Ramsay yelling and screaming at people like that, it doesn't happen. And if it does happen, that executive chef won't be around for long. He's either going to get terminated or you're going to find him in a back alley somewhere bludgeoned. True story. I've seen it happen. Even me, as headstrong as I am and everything, you don't treat people like that. And I know it's all for show, it's all reality TV, but other people don't know that. And what would happen is these kids, they think, oh, I'm going to go to culinary school. So they go to culinary school, they come out of culinary school, start calling themselves chef, acting like they know everything. You definitely don't know everything coming out of culinary school. I didn't know everything coming out of culinary school. And I might have had a little bit of an attitude thinking maybe I did. I got put in my place real quick. Now I'm the guy that I can look at 30 checks on a rail, put them in the old melon up here, and make whatever's on those checks. Not a problem for me. It took me at least 30 years to get that skill. You don't get it overnight. That's one part of it. Being a chef is not supposed to be competitive. You want to have a chili cook-off? Hey, that's fine. That's all in fun. There is no competition. You are a servant. You cook the food for the people. You cook the best food you can for the people, no matter what environment you're at. There's no room for a big, gigantic ego, and it's not really deserved. And I'm saying that as a 40-year veteran chef. There's no room for the big ego. I have been through my periods where I thought, oh, I'm unstoppable. I'm the best. I'm definitely not the best. No, I'm definitely not the worst either. I'm damn good at what I do, and I'm damn proud of what I do. But it got to the point where it's like outdated. And I'm not even that old. I know people that are older than I am that are chefs, and they're still out there banging it out every week for 50 hours a week. Speaking of 50 hours a week, that's another reason I wanted to retire. I don't want to work 6 days a week, all day long, just to have 1 day a week to have time for myself and my family. I learned that lesson. I did it through my kids growing up. I missed half their childhood, even though I had full custody. And that's kind of messed up if you think about it. If I had it to do over again, I still would have worked. I still would have been a chef, but I wouldn't have put in the hours that I did. And of course, with me putting in the hours that I did, making the money that I did, I was able to retire early. I mean, that's what it comes down to. But at what cost? Not a monetary cost. Sure, the money went to pay for my stuff. But I wasn't there for my kids enough. I mean, let's face it. I tried to be the best dad I could. I'm sorry, but it wasn't good enough. I look back, I know I could have done better. And a lot of people feel that way. A lot of these chefs feel that way. But you have to work. You have to pay the bills. It's like a double-edged sword. Another reason I wanted out of it, I hate cliques. I'm the guy that doesn't fit in anywhere, but I fit in everywhere. Does that make sense to you? I'm like a chameleon. I can fit in anywhere, but I don't fit in anywhere. There's cliques. I don't fit into cliques. I don't want to be in a clique. And when I'm saying cliques, I'm talking about the people at the restaurants, all restaurants, that stick together And all they want to do is talk shit and have drama. I am not in the drama business. I don't want to participate. I don't care who's sleeping with who. I don't care. I don't care who's doing drugs. I don't care who snuck out in the back alley, smoked a joint. I don't care. Let's get to work done. I've always had a policy working. I'm not friends with the people I work with. I never have been. If I have to go back to work, I never will be. If you go to work, those are your work people. You have your friends elsewhere. It's just in the restaurant industry, it's just so hard not to hear the drama and get sucked in. I've been sucked in the past. Never again. And that's another, people didn't like it because I stayed out of everything. Because I don't care. I have my own life to take care of. So I spent all this time saying why I hate being a chef. I never used to hate being a chef. I quit whenever I hate being hated. I want to talk about why I loved being a chef and why I still love to cook. I love it when I make something from my heart, from scratch, serve it to somebody, and I see that look on their face. They're just like, wow, this is so good. I can't explain the feeling that I get from that. It's a feeling of appreciation. It's admiration, you know, and when somebody actually likes what I cook and, you know, and without any BS, without anybody turning into a Karen and nitpicking it, just eating it, liking my idea of food, it's hell of a feeling. It really is. And I think that's what keeps real chefs going. Real chefs. Not the ones we just talked about from the competition shows and the ones that watch the competition shows and get this delusion. No, the real chefs, the ones that actually pay attention to what they're doing, the ones that actually love the art, love the craft, and don't mind working 60 hours a week because they love what they do. And those people deserve respect. Hard to find in today's world. Hard to find. I think that's about all I have to say. I respect anybody in the food industry. I respect chefs. I respect cooks. I respect dishwashers. I mean, dishwashers are underrated too. If it wasn't for dishwashers, we wouldn't have clean pans to work with. I mean, it's all supposed to come together to run a restaurant. And when you get all that good and keep the drama out, you got something there. And then you can have a successful business. All right, guys. I hope this video made some sense. I just, you know, because, I know, I'm weird. But I just wanted to talk about that tonight. We'll get back into some fun stuff next time. All right. Bye.
It's just Bruce, he don't bite. Hello.